The temporary income tax. When the British government introduced income tax in 1799, it was strictly to fund the Napoleonic Wars. It was promised to be abolished once the war was over. Over 200 years later, the war is long gone, but the temporary tax remains the primary way the government collects money. The U.S. had a similar temporary tax for the Civil War, and we all know how that ended for our paychecks. The Eiffel Tower. The most famous landmark in Paris was built for the 1889 World's Fair. It was designed to be a temporary exhibit that would be torn down after 20 years. The only reason it stayed up was because its height made it perfect for a radio telegraph antenna. By the time the permit expired, the world had fallen in love with it, and the temporary eyesore became the symbol of France. The chicken tax. In 1964, the U.S. implemented a temporary 25% tariff on imported light trucks in response to tariffs placed on American chicken by Europe. It was meant to be a short-term bargaining chip in a trade war. Fast forward 60 years, the chicken tax is still in effect, which is exactly why you don't see small, affordable foreign pickup trucks on American roads today. TSA Liquids Rule. Remember when you could bring a full-sized bottle of water through security? After a thwarted plot in 2006 involving liquid explosives, the 311 Liquids Rule was rushed in as an emergency measure. It was supposed to stay until better scanners were developed. Decades later, despite massive leaps in scanning technology, we are still throwing away perfectly good shampoo bottles every single day. Standard Time Daylight Savings. The concept of shifting the clocks was a temporary wartime measure during WW1 to save fuel and coal. It was so unpopular it was repealed, then brought back temporarily for WW2. Eventually, it just stuck. Now we continue to disrupt the sleep patterns of billions of people twice a year for a temporary fuel-saving measure that most modern studies show doesn't actually save much energy at all. The temporary London Bridge. In the 1960s, the City of London realized the historic London Bridge was sinking into the Thames. They sold it to an American oil tycoon who moved it to Arizona. To replace it, they built a modern, functional concrete bridge that was meant to be a placeholder until a more architecturally grand design could be finalized. That plain, concrete slab is still there today, serving as the official London Bridge because the city realized it worked well enough. The 55-mile-per-hour speed limit. During the 1973 oil crisis, the U.S. government implemented a temporary national speed limit of 55 miles per hour to conserve gasoline. It was a strict emergency measure meant to last only as long as the fuel shortage. However, the law stayed on the books for over 20 years, long after the crisis ended, because it became a massive source of revenue for local municipalities through speeding tickets. Work-from-home kitchen offices. In early 2020, millions of people were told to grab their laptops and work from their kitchen tables for 2 weeks to flatten the curve. It was supposed to be a frantic, temporary scramble. Yet, here we are in 2025, and those temporary setups have evolved into permanent home offices, changing the landscape of commercial real estate and city centers forever. The short-term experiment fundamentally rewrote the global contract of work. It turns out there is nothing quite so permanent as a temporary solution that actually works, or one that makes someone a lot of money.